There are so many things we hold on to without realizing how much they stop us from enjoying life. Habits, thoughts, and ways of living that feel normal but actually make it harder to appreciate the small everyday moments. So today I want to share 10 important ones I have quit to enjoy small things again. You might recognize a few in your own life, and by the end you may see which ones you are ready to let go of too. Let's start with always doing the most logical thing. Most of us tend to naturally go for whatever makes the most sense. If there's something to do, we look for the most efficient and logical way to get it done. For example, we take the highway instead of the scenic route because it is faster. And many of us, for example, eat lunch at our desks at work because it saves time compared to taking the stairs or the elevator to go outside. I used to think like this as well because, after all, on paper, it all makes sense. But when life works like that for too long, it starts feeling like one long checklist. We move from one thing to the next without noticing what is around us. And when that happens, we miss things. A nice view we pass because it is not the plan. A conversation we cut short because it's not the time for that. The pace becomes more important than the day itself. I started to notice that the best moments don't really happen when you are rushing. They are in between things, in the pauses. Like last week, me and my partner were in the middle of an errand. We were going somewhere and we just stopped to look at the lake and the sky for 10 minutes just because we felt like it. It didn't make any sense, but it felt like the right thing to do. So these days, I try to choose the thing that feels alive instead of the thing that just makes sense. Because sometimes the smarter choice is the one that makes you smile, not the one that gets you there faster. The second thing I quit was holding on to what could have been. It's easy for the mind to get into this what if mode. We start wondering how life would look if we had made different choices. For me, it's the career paths I almost took, the times I didn't start YouTube sooner, or the sports I gave up at 14, even when I showed potential and could have actually become something. There's that quiet thought of how much nicer life could be right now if I had done things differently. But holding on to those thoughts comes with a cost. It makes us compare our real life, the present moment, to an imagined one that doesn't exist. It creates this constant dissatisfaction even when life is pretty good. And most importantly, it makes us blind to the things we do have now, the ones that other versions of our life might never have given us. At some point I realized you cannot live in two timelines at once. You either live this one fully or you end up missing both. And the choices I did make still gave me things worth keeping, because I wouldn't be here without them after all. So now I have more appreciation for what I actually have, more excitement for what is ahead, without this weight of should have. So the simplest life, I think, is to enjoy the one that you are actually living. The past can inspire you and teach you, but it shouldn't keep you from being here now. Chasing the right feeling in every situation. For a long time, I thought there was a right way to feel in every situation. If I was meditating, I should feel calm. Watching a great movie, I should feel happy or joyful. Seeing a sunset, I should feel inner peace. And when I didn't, I felt frustrated. And then frustrated because I was feeling frustrated. It became this double frustration cycle that made even the nicest moments feel like they were not good enough. The problem is, living this way turns ordinary life into something that you have to perform emotionally. Calm or neutral moments start to feel like a failure. You put pressure on yourself to manufacture feelings instead of simply experiencing the moment as it is. And the more you chase a feeling, the further away it seems to get. Over time, I accepted the fact that there's no single right feeling for any moment. There's just the one that you are having, and that is enough. I started focusing more on acceptance than chasing the good vibes only. I learned that feelings are like weather. They pass, and I don't have to control them all. And now life feels much lighter. There's less pressure in everyday moments, more calm, because I'm not constantly judging my emotions. I can watch a sunset and simply notice the colors without forcing it to be this deep emotional experience. A simpler life isn't one where every moment feels happy and calm or even simple. It's one where you let moments be what they are. And often, that's where the real beauty of life is. The fourth one is needing to be always right. In friendships, it's often easy to let small disagreements go. If someone says the capital of a country wrong or misremembers what you talked about last time you met, you just move on. But in relationships, it can be way harder to do that. When it's someone you live with, it can feel almost impossible to just drop something because you know you are right and they are wrong after all, right? I used to struggle with this a lot. My ego would jump in and push me to prove I was right. It didn't matter if it was about something as small as like which road was quicker. Like I just wanted to win. And I see this same habit in many of my family members. So maybe it's part learned, part inherited, but the thing is, this turns small, unimportant moments into long arguments, and it wastes time and energy proving a point that will be forgotten in a week, probably in a day, or already in an hour. So at some point, I started asking myself, what does it really matter if I am right? I realized most things don't need to be settled, and then I began approaching more conversations from I might be wrong instead of I am right and now I need to prove it. Of course, this is mentally much harder, but since then there's been less conflict, especially in my close relationships, and I'm more open to hearing other perspectives, and I don't have the same urge to win every point. Being happy and a smart person isn't about being able to win every argument. It's about knowing which ones are worth even having. And most of the time, they are not. Sometimes peace is worth more than being right. Number 5, forcing myself to enjoy what everyone else enjoys. I used to feel like I had to like the same things everyone else liked to belong. Buying new clothes, upgrading to the latest technology, going along with whatever was popular at the time. Even with distractions like parties, events, or entertainment, I told myself I should enjoy them because other people did. But then, when I found minimalism, a lot of that pressure started to lift. I began to find real joy in different way of living, having fewer possessions, slower days, more time for the things that mattered. It felt like a breath of fresh air, but after a while, I noticed something strange. The same pattern was starting to appear again, just in different things. Now it wasn't about the latest phone or fashion. It was about fitting into what I thought minimalists were supposed to enjoy or do or be. I felt like I should like the same minimalist home designs, the white walls, perfectly curated shelves, neutral tones everywhere. I tried hobbies and habits that didn't really click with me, like bullet journaling or arranging my space for hours just to make it look more minimalist. And when I didn't enjoy those things, of course, I started wondering if I was even doing minimalism right. And that's when it hit me that I had simply swapped one set of expectations for another. It wasn't about cool brands or upgrades anymore. Now it was about matching the image of a perfect minimalist, especially since I'm creating these YouTube videos about minimalism, at least for the most part. But digging deeper into the real values of minimalism, I realized that it isn't about copying someone else's version of it. Enjoying a lifestyle doesn't mean that you have to enjoy every single part of it. It's about aligning life with what matters to you. And when I gave myself permission to skip the parts that didn't feel natural, this guilt disappeared. So now I enjoy the parts of minimalism or any lifestyle I want to that truly work for me. There's no need to be like a or the minimalist. Just live my own version of a simple life. Another thing I quit was needing the perfect outcome every time. Perfection isn't always a bad thing. In some parts of life, the result really does matter. But too often, we start chasing the perfect outcome in almost everything. And that is where the problem begins. When every task becomes about getting it just right, it makes it very hard to enjoy the process because you are so focused on how it will turn out. For me, areas where the result truly matters are, for example, health decisions, financial decisions, so spending, saving, and in my case, whether people watch my YouTube videos because bills don't pay themselves, and important commitments like keeping promises, showing up for the people, being there when it actually counts. But there are many areas where the result doesn't matter, even though I used to treat like it did. For example, leisure activities like reading or walking, then everyday errands or cooking at home. Like if the food turns out amazing or just average or even below average, it doesn't really matter. And then casual social interactions. Sometimes you can simply spend time together without needing it to lead somewhere specific. These days, I have started separating the moments where outcome is important from those where it's not. And when the stakes are low, I focus on enjoying the process, just the activity instead. As someone wise once said, don't sweat the small stuff. Caring so much about appearance. We overthink how we look far more than we need to. So much time and energy goes into deciding what to wear, fixing hair, or making sure we look ready before doing the simplest things. Sometimes it even stops us from going out, joining an activity, or saying yes to something we would actually like to do. But the truth is, most people don't care or judge you based on how you look. And the few who do probably are not the people you want to keep close anyway. A few years ago, I started letting go of the idea that I needed to look a certain way before showing up. I realized that if someone's opinion changes because I'm not perfectly put together, that says probably more about them than me. And I have to say that this goes both ways too. If someone really enjoys spending hours getting ready and looking a certain way, that is their choice. We don't have to judge that either. Let all flowers bloom. Show up as yourself and let others do the same. A simple life is one where appearance doesn't control your choices, yours or anyone else's. Number 8, holding on to anger. If someone stole $10 from you, would you hand them your whole wallet? Probably not. What about your entire bank account balance? Definitely not. Yet that is what we do with our time when we hold on to anger. You get, and we all get, 86,400 seconds each day. If someone steals 10 of them, like the driver who cuts you off in traffic, why give them more? Why let them take the next hour or the rest of the afternoon? And this doesn't just happen on the road. Maybe someone says something rude or a coworker makes a comment that gets under your skin. They have moved on, but you are still carrying it through the rest of your day. Holding on to anger is like carrying extra weight you don't need. It turns small moments into mental clutter that you bring everywhere, to work, to home, even to bed or your dreams. It doesn't mean you have to pretend that nothing happened or that it was okay. You don't have to forget, but you can choose to forgive, not necessarily for them, but for yourself. Just let it go. Forgiveness in this sense is just letting go enough so you can keep living your life. Most of the things we stay angry about are small when you look at the big picture, and once you see them like that, they don't have as much power anymore. The ninth thing I quit was feeling I had to justify myself. Some things that are completely normal for others can feel uncomfortable for me. For example, as an introvert, I sometimes want to avoid bigger crowds. In the past, I felt like I needed to have long explanations ready or some excuses and give multiple reasons why staying at home or in a smaller circle was what I wanted. But explaining every decision takes energy. It can turn a simple preference into a long conversation. You start defending yourself instead of just living your life. And this isn't only about introversion. It can be about any personal choice, saying no to certain foods, choosing not to travel, or deciding to spend money differently. All of these can invite questions. And if we always feel the need to explain, those questions can slowly reduce our confidence. At some point in my journey, I realized that I don't need to justify my feelings or choices to everyone. A short, "No, that's not my cup of tea" can be enough. The people who matter will understand without a long explanation, probably anyway. Pretending I have unlimited time. I wanted to save this one for last, almost like a prize for anyone still watching, because it's one of the biggest things that's helped me enjoy simple things again. Most of us avoid thinking about our own mortality. I guess that's just how we are. We go through life as if time is endless, and when we believe that, we keep putting off so many things. We fall into routines and forget that every day we live is one we never get back. I have heard the saying, and probably you as well, live every day like it would be your last, more times than I can count. But it never made sense to me because I am too much of a realist. The chance of today being my last day is maybe 0.001%, so pretending it is feels strange. But what did make sense was realizing that one day I will die. Not with a 1% or even 99% chance, but with a 100% chance. That thought doesn't tell me when, but it does remind me that my time will come. You stop waiting for something better and start appreciating what is already here. Life is limited, and that's exactly what makes it worth paying attention to. I would like to finish this video with a real story that you can take with you today. It is from Cindy D. Holmes, and it was published in the book Chicken Soup for the Soul. I work in teaching and healthcare, and I have met many children living with HIV. They have taught me more about courage than I ever imagined. Tyler was born HIV positive. From the start, he relied on constant medication, later delivered through a pump in a backpack and an oxygen tank he pulled in a little cart. Yet he never let the illness steal his childhood. He ran, played, and laughed with boundless energy. His mother often told him, "You move so fast, you should be wearing red so I can see you better." As time passed, the disease wore him down and his health declined. His mother was also terminally ill. When it became clear Tyler didn't have much time, she gently told him they would soon be together in heaven. A few days before his death, Tyler whispered to me, "I'm going to die soon, but I'm not afraid. When I die, could you dress me in red? When Mom comes to heaven, I'll be playing and she'll find me more easily." Cindy D. Holmes. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.